tell you,
This
I
meeting is
was
being recorded.
Oh, jeez.
being recorded. Oh my God.
That's right. So watch your
So,
language, boys.
yes, what would you say? Well, I was having some headset trouble and microphone trouble at the last Zoom, and it was an extremely complex and trying program to try to figure out what was my problem. And it works a lot better if you just have a headset that works. So apparently
Details, details.
the mic is dead on my Cyber Acoustics Amazon purchase. So gee, I got this one at You Do It. So I made a visit up to You Do It Electronics, which some folks may be familiar with today. And for 15 bucks, I got a nice little Manhattan, obviously designed here, made overseas set. So, and one comment I would make about You Do It. Now, this used to be a 2-floor setup. One floor was primarily for those folks who are looking for parts, pieces, air dusters, capacitors, shrink tubing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, as Yul Brynner would say. And the second floor was primarily TVs, component stereo, speakers, sound rooms, all the kind of stuff that you used to get at Tech I-Fi, that type of thing. And they've slimmed down considerably, but I have to say, it's interesting where they wound up. They have some nice, beautiful Sony AM/FM tuner amps because apparently people are back into, you know, turntable compatible type stuff, and all the different cleaners and LED lights and parts and headsets. So I mean, good to the. I mean, they survived. I guess this is all pandemic related. So uh, anybody who used to go up to You Do It in Needham,
Oh yeah.
help them out. They're still there. So it's the final wrap up of photos. This seems to go on and on and on from our
Yeah.
last few.
Well, it was by popular demand, I guess,
It's
because
by popular demand. And our next event is on May 21st, which may sound a long way off, but honestly, time flies. So we'll be up in Brookline in a little bit. So I will turn things over to John if you would like to pick up kind of where we left off,
yeah,
and we'll go from there.
sure. Well, before we do, Bill Holly had a show and tell he wanted to do so. He when he joined earlier, so
The
I said,
floor
by all
goes to
means,
Bill.
let's have a. We'll get a chance of a change of pace anyway, instead of listening to me drone on or watch my pictures. So it's every opportunity. So
I
Bill,
hardly think of you as a drone. So anyway,
but
here we go.
yeah, so yeah, Bill, why don't you start us off, and then we'll pick it up once afterwards.
Okay, well, what my show and tell is the first crystal radio I ever built. And I got to preface this by stating that it worked pretty well. I was probably 8 or 10 years old when I built it in the late 1940s. But I was only 3 miles away from a 50,000 watt clear channel station. So this is a direct single stage TRF radio. And first of all, here's my antenna. Okay.
Hey, Bill, what was that station? Your 50,000 watt flamethrower there? That
WPTR, Whiskey Papa Tango Robet, Romeo.
right?
And 1540 on the dial, as I recall. Anyway, here's the audio section of the receiver.
All right.
And if
Let's.
you look between the alligator clips, there's the detector, the RF section. And that was the whole thing. I could put the headsets on at that old pair of Brandies. I think at the time I probably had a set of commercial, trim commercials, something like that around the house. I didn't have the old stuff at that point. And I could wear the headset on my head and let the cord just straight down the front of me. And I had modulation up the yin yang. I could have used the volume control to turn it down, actually.
That's pretty
So
cool.
that's my whole show and tell for tonight.
Well, that's cool.
Thank you, Bill.
It's as simple as you'll ever see.
Hey, Bill, did you ever figure out where your hum was coming from through your antenna and ground circuit for your crystal sets?
No, I haven't worked with that in a spell. I've got an idea. I'm going to run another ground wire over from where it comes in the house. When I was running it, I either ran out of wire or got lazy. Probably a little of each. And I got the wire out of the radio room and halfway across the cellar towards the where the cold water pipe comes in the house and where my system grounds were all. And I just clamped onto an available cold water pipe and used that to continue down to the system, which was jumpered over the meter and all of that. But there was 2 or 3 solder joints, couplings and whatnot in the piping over there. So I suspect I may not have as good a ground as I thought I did. I'm going to have to try and go direct on it, see what happens.
Okay, well, I would think that's about as good as it gets. I mean, the cold water piping, if it's all copper, sweated copper, I would think it would be about as low in RF resistance as anything.
I would think so. The couplings, none of them leak, so I wouldn't have any high resistance in the solder joints, but I don't know. I'm going to try a direct wire and see if that improves things any.
Let us know how you make out.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, as far as grounding goes, so, you know, back in the glory days of shortwave, 70s and 80s, and I needed a good ground for the antenna that I ran out to the tree behind my home. You know, my dad worked for the power company, so there was no loss of material for me to work with. So occasionally things would come up missing from the Edison company. So, you know, my neighbors probably thought, well, why is this kid on his roof? And why is he banging this thing in with a 20-pound sledge? I mean, I did the iron rod into the ground. You know, I took ground, you know, at the age of about 15, I took it all very seriously. So I did as, you know, best I could. And it improved my shortwave reception immensely. And I'm managing to run that thing back up to my little Sony rig that I had up in the room. And so, yeah, so never hesitate to go back to your ground. I've done, you know, steam pipes in the house. I've done water pipes, but there was nothing quite as good as a large piece of metal driven into the ground adjacent to the house. So it really improved things. I mean, I would say my catches went up probably like 25% as far as, you know, I use BBC and Radio Netherlands, but after the ground, I started to pick up Deutsche Welle. I got the BBC out of Cyprus, and so a lot of things improved. It's a we don't think of it as much today because most of our electronics is driven by what we do in the house. So.
Well, my ground is a cold water pipe that runs about 80 foot from the house out to the street before it ties into the street water system, which I believe that's in plastic pipe now. But I still got a 3/4 inch copper pipe running to the street that buried anywhere from 2 to 4 feet down. So I think my basic ground is pretty good.
Well, good luck with it.
Mm.
So, John, do we want to go back to where we were with some photographs and a little commentary? And
Absolutely.
All right.
I want to actually welcome everybody. Nice to see some of all the usual faces. And a quick shout out to David Spivey, who looks like he was sitting outdoors where the rest of us are not.
Well, that
It must be particularly good.
that's a positive sign.
That's right. But it's coming for us.
It
But
is.
anyway,
So
so
it's 47 in Greater Boston tonight. That's
yeah,
yeah.
maybe not quite so comfortable.
We'll get there.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, picking up where we left off here, I promise you this will be the last round. But there was lots of great stuff at the meet. So anyway, here we have a older phonograph. I'm not sure who made this. Maybe anyone can call that out, but it doesn't jump at me who made this. It is actually rather nice looking, looks rather complete, and quite shiny. It always can be shined up. But at any rate, oh yeah, this nice National Panasonic, so it must be in its late 60s, early 70s, multi-band radio, which National Panasonic was generally a pretty popular, pretty desirable by today's standards. Look at all those switches. You know, that's good stuff there. Must be, presumably these are little memory buttons that was popular in the late 60s into the 70s, where you had mechanical memory to remember your station. So I believe that's probably what those are. But actually a nice, probably fairly desirable radio, all things considered. Charlie, the famous Charlie McCarthy, is that right? Did I get that right? Radio. Is that majestic?
I think so. And you know, Charlie's a little beat up, but those
Yeah.
are good money. That looks about as original as you can get.
It looked it to me. That's why it was worth the photograph, despite being a little haggard in the paint there. But it's all looks to be all there. So well worth the shot, because certainly these novelty radios are certainly pretty desirable.
The whole ventriloquist thing is just an odd phenomenon. I don't quite know what to say.
It looks like I haven't seen any revival yet. So did I.
I mean, how do you do a ventriloquist routine on the radio? I mean, God bless them. You know what you know, and people loved it. So obviously enough that they would go to the production line and put something out. But in today's world, we would probably look at that and say, it's a little sketchy.
Well, Paul, when you think about it, it was pretty easy to be a ventriloquist on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. There's probably something I could even do, Rich. Because certainly you would not want to see me.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. But
Looks like Charlie has his monocle too. Usually that's missing on those.
yeah,
Yep.
It looks pretty complete.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had a good set of like model paint and a good brush, and you were a good artist, you could probably touch little Charlie up pretty good. And I mean, the rest of the case is really pretty sharp. I mean, you got that little
Yeah, I mean, you have
the dial, but and that's big bucks. I mean, there's the Charlie McCarthy's, the Rudolphs, all of that stuff.
yeah, you know,
Despite the technical limitations, shall we say, of the chassis, those are hot, you know, collectible items.
oh sure. Yeah, no question, Paul. You know, if you gave this a really thorough cleaning initially, I truly believe that you could probably with even model paint, because they certainly get oil paints, because it's probably all oil anyway.
Test was
yeah, and a less steady hand, it can be done, because they offered a lot of the like flesh colored. My brother was a big modeler. I was a big modeler as well. Not nearly as prolific as my brother ever was. And this is something that he would certainly say, yeah, without a question, this could be done, because it's really not too bad. With a steady hand, you could do this. I definitely could.
Did the ladies at the Woolworth tell him that I can't sell you that tube of glue with a paper bag?
Yeah, back in the day, but now we spend most of the time at the hobby shop.
I know. Well, that was just for the Ramones, not, you know.
Right,
Us
right.
radio guys, we're a different ilk.
That's okay. Let's see here. Here's a nice with a Philco. Is that a Philco?
Model
it is.
90.
I would think so.
Yes, it is. Did I hear? Great. What was that? Did you say?
Looks like it's a Model 90. That's the
That's what I
most
thought.
desirable.
Yeah. That's what I thought, but I'm glad you called it out. Oh, this is nice. I like this old style vintage Zenith sign. I don't know if it's lit up. I think I see a power cord, but I don't know if there's it wasn't lit up when I took it, but I thought it was rather nice little sign there with the emblem, and if it does light up, it'd be pretty nice to see if it were.
Well, you know, it's the usual routine. These signs will sell for way more than the radios ever could.
It's true. Oh, it's crazy what promotional
Stuff
things.
is just big, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So if that lit up, oh, that's the bomb.
Yeah, it would be the bomb. There was a nice one coming up. I'll show for that did light up. It's rather attractive. Not Zenith, however. Here's it's an Ingraham cabinet clock. You can see the name Ingraham synchronous clock, and obviously a radio built in there. I do not know who made the radio, however. Interesting that the dial's over here. Any guess, anybody? I don't see any other labeling. Maybe a mystery.
You know, I couldn't really have a comment. I mean, maybe a Sears, though I don't know that I don't think they worked with Ingraham. That's the only thing. So maybe not. A Philco?
Photo on the backside.
I don't think I got a backside photo. There was I banged up, funny enough, I banged up 475 photos, but I could have probably done more if I really had the bandwidth to take even more. But as it is, I've filled our group's Diode drive with enough memory space with these. But hey, you know what? It reflected the quality of the stuff there. Not that we don't always have quality stuff at our meeting needs, but let's see, what do we have here? Oh, electrocoagulation.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah, that is.
Where do they stick the needle in? You know, your arm. You know.
Oh, now this one's unusual.
Almost looks like a quack, some kind of a one of our quack radio devices. I don't know.
Do we have Mark Best on here?
Maybe
Maybe.
I don't know. I think of blood. You know. Yeah.
I know. I just took it because I said, well, that's interesting. I mean, we do this. We certainly takes the word vintage electronics, you know, to the edge of the spectrum here. You know.
Hey, John, when you zoomed in, what was the name under the dial there? It had some kind of a with an M.
So I say Tosh.
Interesting.
So they was, but so good question. And look the desiccation, which, you know, it means you're removing any liquid. Really interesting. Coagulation. Wow. This is something. Was that?
That's very scary.
But you'd be the only kid in the block with one.
Oh, you would be.
But yeah, good stuff. But yeah, I don't think I'll ever see one of these again.
Be nice to have a conversation with whoever, you know, had that table. You know, what do you know about it? You know?
Yeah, you know, regrettably, I regret that I didn't actually ask about it. You know, sometimes you end up.
It could be that they don't know much more than we do, but it just goes to show you'll never know what you'll find.
Exactly.
Does it belong to a hemophilia?
Is it possible that it's like if you ever have surgery on your face and they want to stop the blood, they have this device, I don't know what it's powered from, and it is a coagulation device, and they put it on it and it dries the blood up. So maybe it's something like that. And there's a handle with electrodes missing.
Let me plug this in and you just, let me put these electrodes on your face and you'll feel much better. Oh my God.
Or nothing at all.
Actually, it's like fried eggs. You can hear the sizzing sound as it dries your blood up.
Now, for full visual effect, you have to have a Jacob's ladder in the room.
That's what that thing in the middle of my forehead is.
I wonder if it works on the diathermy principle, because it looks like there's a tube with a plate cap over on the left.
Yeah.
And it looks like that might be an RF power tube or something to generate a little bit of RF, maybe coupled to the patient or something to create some heat. And one result of that might be coagulation or desiccation.
I think it's just a ground plate, because I remember the doctor shoving a ground plate under my elbow. So that's what it could be.
Well, it could capacitively couple to a metal
Extract
plate.
a certain amount of cash from the customer.
I see a maker's mark on it, says made in Transylvania. Yep, I see it.
Wikipedia says it has to do with water treatment, wastewater treatment.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Get the solids out.
That's funny. This is
Yeah.
the
They
cool.
probably would have told me it would grow all the hair back on my head. Yes, put your finger in here and hold on to this iron rod. You'll be better in 10 minutes if you don't.
Or
Usually you
maybe
have the
you
iron
won't
rod
feel
here.
anything at all,
That's funny.
ever again.
Before that are just two questions. Do you want to be upright or laying out flat?
Start out upright and then you're laying down.
We're back in familiar territory here, I think.
Something a little more normal.
Moving right along. We're moving
Chris Thompson brought like a ton of great,
with remote.
and with remote. I mean, look at this thing. I mean, beautiful. I mean, with the remote. How could you not love this? And it looks, and so local radio, it's got WBZ, some WOR, so it obviously could reach all the major stations at the time. I'm not sure which model this would, but this is a Philco, right? I hope. Did I get this right?
I believe so.
I think it might be a 39-116. That sound right?
That's potentially right. Yep, that may sound right. I think it's a better phone. Yeah, there's the dial section. Look at that. Got soft, loud. Some of your stations up there. WR, OR, you can see. A little bit hard to see the reflection, but it's good
No,
stuff.
that looks all original. That's in great shape.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. Just even the just beautiful. I mean, look at the plastic, the swirling, gorgeous. Looks like almost ivory, almost. It's not, but
A lot of those get very warped too. That was nice and straight.
yeah, he brings a lot of nice stuff. And he brings like a big box truck. It's he put a lot. He probably had. I'm gonna guess the number, at least a few dozen good sized things, and I'll show some of the regenerative vane, weather vane. I have a shot of that later, but it's nice. Seeing it.
Look at the speaker shadow on the grill cloth. Oh,
1937 8S154
AM radio as it's meant to be.
with the target tuning eye.
Yeah,
Target
that beautiful.
tuning vane, I should say. It worked like a shadow meter. There was just a little dot in the middle. It moved up and down, and when it was in the center bullseye, you had the strongest signal.
Interesting. Yeah, it's they obviously you can see it's on. So I think he was playing music through that at the time. Oh, there's just a close up, which I can even get in closer now. But, beautiful. I mean, it's fun to even just look at the dial face. You never really get tired of looking at it.
Yeah.
Oh, here's an Admiral sign. You obviously more recent, looks like 70s kind of material, but still worth seeing. A very nice looking clock below. Western Union, I think I have a better shot later, the official time. It's like something that maybe was in a train station, maybe. There it is. Very handsome looking clock, quite salvageable. Woodwork is not in bad shape. Certainly fixable. Good looking clock. Certainly these Art Deco style numbers. Gotta like it. Oh, this is just a box of goodies just to take a show of these old phones. And other doodads, but it's just worth taking a shot of. Just showing whatever showed up at our at the meet. Included all this. If you're looking for an old phone, this is your place to go. I guess a bunch of microphones and doodad stuff. Again, it was more, I just happened to see it, grab the shot, moved on. A Lafayette. Is that a, oh, is an amp or is that a?
Turner, isn't it?
Might be a tuner, yeah. Oh yeah, well there's I guess the top part. There we go. I was looking at the side. They must be just two components that go together, I would assume. Another Zenith.
Oh, yeah.
Another beauty. This is it's nice it's almost look like a two-story unit in its own way.
The radio organ type buttons.
Oh, I love it. I know. Just look at that. Another beautiful, that's I think another Chris Thompson console. Absolutely beautiful.
8 tuber, 1940.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, those toner organs are nice, but all the wiring was a crumbling wire, and every time you restore one of those, you
Yes.
have a lot of wire to replace to put those back together
Yep.
again.
Replace or re-sleeve, yes.
Yeah.
The rubber wiring nightmare.
Mhm.
Interesting.
I was working on a Crosley a couple weeks
on
ago
the
with that
inside
disease.
than they did on the outside because the cases are beautiful, you know. I mean, that's really
Yeah, isn't it? I mean, look at the,
very attractive.
I think Chris had set up, I think he was playing through this radio because he set up, I think it's Bluetooth module here that he was playing this. Because I took a small video clip while I was there, which I'll eventually post. Yeah, not close up of the dial face. In case you didn't see it close up enough. Beautiful.
Not to mention those buttons often being broken or missing, or
Right.
so that's mint. Nice stuff.
You can even see all the decaling, automatic.
Yep, Commander McDonald would be pleased. We're sitting here looking at that. Yes, he would.
Yes. No, this
Is the speaker on top part of it?
It
it's
shouldn't be.
yeah, it should be below.
No.
This one here, oh, I don't know what the deal is with that. I forget now why that was there, or it's just Chris conveniently put it there.
That is a vintage Dictagrand speaker from about probably 1908 to 1912. Nice brass tag. Can you zoom in on that?
Oh, yeah.
Is it Dicta? Oh no, it just says radio loudspeaker.
Radio loudspeaker.
Wait a minute. There it is.
Right there, Mark. It says.
Yeah,
Dicto
there it is.
something.
I see it. Can you
Yep.
read it?
I think so. Boy, I'll tell you, it's I'm losing the resolution here, boys. It says
Baltimore,
Electronics
maybe?
Corporation. Is that dictaphone? I can't. It's hard to read.
No,
Looks like
I
it's
don't think
indeed.
it's. I have that speaker in the museum. We probably saw it in the first pictures already. But it's a beautiful speaker. I would have bought that in a
Nice
heartbeat.
Mark, we should have had you there. You would have come home with a truck full.
Boy, and like I said before,
I think we lost you, Mark. or at least voice-wise.
I've done some resorting and reorganizing, and I've probably come up with more stuff I could put on the free table and more stuff I could put on, up for donation. Oh God,
Yeah.
I need nothing more. I need nothing more. This
Yeah.
little Firestone portable.
Yeah. You don't see this too often. The Air Chief. I like it. It's the first
You
time.
wanted to get a new set of tires, maybe a brake job. Here you go. You need a radio. I think
It's actually, you can see it's both AC and battery. So, actually a nifty looking radio. Because I've never seen one.
some of those portables are pretty good sets. They might even have small sets, but three gang tuners, and
I mean, this looks.
maybe a little Stuart Warner. Stuart Warner made a ton of Firestone stuff. So
I mean, this looks to be all there from what I can tell. But that was actually a
knobs are in good shape.
good cleaning would go a long way. It's actually a rather attractive color too, in this burgundy plastic. I just
Newer.
that while I happened to be there, don't know exactly why I did, but I said, I'm taking a photo.
It looks ridden hard and put away wet.
Yeah. It does look pretty war weary. Here is a realistic multi-band. I thought, well, our old friend Radio Shack, always worthy of a nod out for some of the stuff they used to put out.
What year would you give a guess on something like that? It's got the slider,
70s.
70s.
Yeah, I agree. I've certainly.
9-band set.
I'm thinking 80s.
Oh, really? It could be. I admittedly, I don't really recall even seeing these sets too often, even in Radio Shack, but it's vague in my mind. But yeah, it looks mostly all there. It's got all the band switches up here. And I thought it was worth a shot because you just don't see these very often. Most of the time we're always seeing TOs and things along these
Probably something you could listen to Joe Adamov on Radio Moscow. The average Soviet citizen, with all his needs satisfied, has time for entertainment on the world band radios.
It's a nice, just a Sylvania. Is that right? Yeah. Sylvania. I don't see this very often. I thought it was
Lightning Bolt S type controls. That's cool.
I liked it.
Nice.
And again, a radio I rarely see. Maybe just matter.
Very nice shape. Not a lot of, dings.
Oh.
That little brass finish on the knobs, on the, volume and tuning look pretty clean.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, it just looked all there. Up, Motorola. So purple set.
Probably an antenna in that handle and
yeah, no
pretty
question.
good receiver.
Yeah, with kind of an interesting, spin the paper, the fabric that they put over.
It's a nice shape.
Yeah. It's certainly an interesting color combination with the sort of purplish or magenta and cream. Certainly a nice contrast. And here is a Philco. Yay.
That grill is in very nice shape. Usually those deform, pretty significantly over the years. So
this one's not too bad. It's just got a little bend, but not too bad.
That's excellent by what you usually see.
I could believe it. Early plastic, that was always the problem.
I just finished one of those. It's a 1942 model, 42 PT 95.
Nice. I think I vaguely remember. I might have seen that. Did you put it on Radio Attic?
Not yet. I haven't. I just actually finished it this past week.
Oh, okay. Okay, maybe I'm mistaken.
Yeah.
They could remember.
Maybe-
Not bad little AM receivers though, Greg. I mean, they
No,
play
they're
pretty
nice.
well.
Built-in loop antenna, and like you could say, the 10-eye grill is in very nice shape.
Yep, all the decals there.
Yeah, I mean, there was a fellow who was on the Philco forum who was making replacement grills for those for a little while. He made a mold, but you'd probably pay more for the mold, or
Oh.
for the replacement grill than you would for that whole set.
A lot of people are buying those later Philcos from after the war that were more common. Now the prices on those are going up. Those are the 47-204 and -205. They had the same grill, but they were made out of a different material that didn't warp.
Lear radio. What's that? Yep, it's a Lear.
Yeah, a Lear radio.
Father of the 8-track, 8-track. Well, I won't say cassette, but 8-track tape player. And wasn't he involved somehow with Lear jets?
Yeah, I believe I was about to say that. Yeah, I believe
Same
he,
fellow.
which was the benchmark of corporate jets. He started the trend. It was benchmark for years. In fact, I think we're so used to just calling it almost became its own name. Like instead of a corporate jet, you call it, I take a Lear jet, even if it weren't a Lear jet. So you sort
Case
of-
is really nice as far as like all the detailing and
Yeah, I
a
agree.
little ornate, but probably no more than a 5 or a 6 tube set. But that's very nice. Glass is nice, so that's a beauty.
Yeah, I mean, again, something you just don't see all that often.
Yeah. If you didn't want to paint it, you could probably strip it, and it's probably brown Bakelite, very respectable looking. $70.
Yeah,
Take it away.
not silly money. Let's see what the description. Can't really tell from the description what it really said, but not if it was working, or at least even somewhat a minor restoration seemed reasonable given the rather uncommon aspect of this radio.
Now, I met Bill Lear in the late 60s. I was actually selling avionics equipment and trying to get it onto the first Learjet that was being air tested at the time.
It should have been about
It
mid
was,
60s, I suppose.
He was a crazy guy. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant, all over the place.
Funny.
Wore odd colored socks. Things like
As is
that.
often the case, because of course, us people who are looking at these things from 70 years ago, we're completely sane. It's the other guy's problem. It's not us. We just appreciate history. The other people were the nutcakes.
That's right.
Well, when you call your daughter Chandelier, it's a bit much. And that's true, by the way. It's not a joke.
I have a friend who named his 2 sons after variable stars in the constellation Libra. So, those are just things that continue to go on through the ages. But,
Oh, and Frank Zappa had Dweezil and Moon Unit.
Yeah. Right.
And who doesn't love Frank?
Hey, I mean, you could easily name your child Philco. I mean, you just Phil for short, right?
I've thought about a Philco for a pet, I mean, not necessarily for a child.
But it gets a bit much if it was Radio Corporation of America.
That's right. But it was quite restorable Emerson.
Dial's nice.
Attractive little set.
Too bad.
Yeah.
Wipe down with Howards, and you might be surprised.
Yeah.
Do a low
Touch up
cost
the
job.
black trim, and you'd be most of the way there. Yeah. Boy. Oh, this was interesting.
Crossley, you're there with a Crossley.
RCA.
Victor. I thought that quite a dial face on that. Huh?
I looked at that dial and I thought that was a Crossley. Shame on me.
That's okay. That's all right.
Looks like a replacement grill cloth, though. That's a little.
Yeah, it looks unusually nice for its vintage.
But it kind of fits.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I'd love to know the model on that. That's a very cool dial.
Yeah, I know. And that was really captivating. I said, wow, look at that with the world and the RCA label with the
I did one like that, and one time that the grill cloth was actually a greenish color originally.
really.
Yeah. It
Huh.
had sort of a turquoise tint to it. And the dial on there, I think it aged quite a bit because it's a lot darker than they should be.
Oh, really?
RC with Aquarius, yeah, the dials got very dark from age. I don't think we show much light anymore through there.
Oh, interesting. So you're thinking this should be significantly lighter.
Originally it was, yeah. Yeah, it's just the passage of time took its toll.
Yeah, what you
Some
mean.
of those RCA tombstones too, they had like a deep chassis, like if you look in the back,
Oh.
the chassis was like 3 or 4 inch, and they're just a PITA,
Well, they had the variable condenser underneath instead of
Yeah.
on top, so that's why they made it so deep. The tuning
And then
capacity.
they overlaid a lot of the parts, which is like you have layers. Ugh.
Oh, this was neat. This lullaby, I guess, it's a bed post.
A Mitchell.
Mitchell. Yeah, this is
Hang it
Chris's.
over your bedboard, and then when it burned up into flames, you could be instantly incinerated reading your favorite book.
That's right. I mean, look at this big hot lamp that
favorite
beating
station.
over your
Give
head.
yourself a sunburn.
But I liked it. This was one of Chris's radios. Yeah, 'cause I was admiring this. It was just something you don't see all that
It's
often.
in great shape, though.
Oh gosh, yes. Yeah.
Knobs, controls, girl clock. That's really sharp.
The Mitchell Lullaby. Radio bed light.
It's been serviced, ready to go.
Yeah, well, with Chris, that's no question. And you can have an instant source of heat if you use an old incandescent bulb.
So you probably get a sunburn while you sleep.
Right.
So I'm not sure if those had like an automatic shut off type thing.
I don't know. I kind of have my doubts, but you never know.
I have one and they don't.
They don't.
Neat though. Here we have is this RCA? No.
Little Emerson.
It is Emerson.
dial.
Yeah, track the little radio.
And they made a gazillion of them.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, it does say Emerson. Yeah, beautiful little radio though. Some minor little superficial stuff, but stuff a little Howard's can deal with.
And despite the size on the Emersons, they just seem to play pretty well. I have a tiny little Emerson, same era, and I don't know what it is. They just seem to get the most out of what they put into it. Has plenty of volume and it's fairly sensitive. So, Jersey City, New Jersey. They put a condo complex in their own building, from what I understand. You ever get down that way, Rich?
Well, the building was right at the mouth of the
There's an overpass, and then there's the tunnel.
yeah,
right?
not the Lincoln Tunnel, but the Holland Tunnel. And
Yeah,
you
so
would
I saw
see it.
not too long ago, somebody put up a picture that they were condoing out, and they still had that Emerson sign on the building.
Yeah. They also had a building on 23rd Street in Manhattan. And I remember, I guess you're going back 25 years, you could just make it out, Emerson. Emerson Radio Television. Yeah.
Trying to think, I must have passed that a million times. I just trying to remember if I've ever seen it.
Yeah.
I used to take 2030 pretty often.
Yeah, coming off the West Side Highway.
Yeah, that's what I do. I hop off the West Side Highway and cross down on 23rd.
Yeah.
Venus toaster.
Yeah, that's very nice. Nice shape. Very nice shape.
Real knobs, which are usually, the problem on that. You get some kind of missing knobs or odd knobs.
Yeah.
But they use that little Z pointer on a lot of sets, even some of the bigger ones.
Yeah, this one just nice, had nice Z
Yeah.
in the middle of the.
Case isn't too bad. Pretty good.
They look too clean to be the original, so they've probably been replaced.
Renovated radios, maybe.
A lot of times what happened is those bases are broke off because somebody will get behind them with a screwdriver and try and pry them off, and They break the bezel onto the
Yeah,
lip off on the outside.
I could believe it. Yeah, this is very nice though.
Yeah, very nice. Ooh,
Little Crosley, that's pretty cool, huh?
bullseye.
Yeah. Love it. What a neat little unit. That's sold, I know, because I saw someone walking out with it. I don't remember who.
And if that's the original paint, that's really great.
Beautiful.
You don't even one or two little flea bites. That's great. You can still see
I
that
would
gold.
think it is
color.
because the gold, yeah, on the Crosley
That's mint.
label is still there.
Mint.
Yeah, it's it's worn up a little bit, but it would not surprise me as the original unit.
What about this one?
Oh, is that you,
That's
Russ?
it. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, I was wondering. I knew I saw someone walk out, but I just couldn't remember who it was.
Yeah, original paint. You can see some wear on the feet, but it seems all original.
That's really
Very nice.
That's good. I just couldn't remember, Russ, that it was you. I remember seeing it in someone's hand. I thought, someone got
There it is.
lucky.
What year is that?
Oh, I knew once. I don't know if it says on it.
53.
Yeah, it was definitely in the 50s. I've been doing a little research on them, but my memory is not very good.
Sometimes in the model number, you'll find the year somehow embedded.
Yeah, it's an 11119U, so that won't help.
That doesn't work.
But
119.
we'll put it this way: it had to have been after 47 because it says Avco on the bottom. So by then, Crosley had sold the radio business to Avco.
But it doesn't have any Conrad on there, so that also helps you date it.
Correct. That's right. It doesn't. So
I'm just playing a devil's advocate on it because if I'm not mistaken, it's on the top shelf in the kitchen of A Christmas Story, which is set in 1940. So I think they made a mistake about it.
Yeah.
Oh, those props people, you know.
You have to send a blistering letter.
Yeah, 35 years later.
Yeah, right. Well, it took us a while to catch it, but we've had a in-depth analysis.
Who's a good girl? Oh, I love you. Come here. Baby T.
Oh, interesting. So the Crosley first sold in 51.
That's a pretty cool set. I mean, look at how neat the relief is on those dials, huh?
Yeah, this is beautiful. Now,
Looks like it was put in a closet or something. Nobody ever touched it.
This?
You see the brand? I think it's down in the beginning of that, like
Is it here?
the apex of those tines. I cannot make that out.
I can't make it out. I thought it was absolutely it's kind of a stunning looking front end. I was just like, wow, that's really
a classic mantle radio.
The fan style, grill work. And I said, wow, just look at the really attractive looking lettering. This is original. It's just eye popping. This was, like I said, you can see the theme from the past two meetings, and this one is just the uniqueness and quality of the merchandise is just remarkable.
That looks like a pretty old set to me because the tuning dial is calibrated 0 to 100 instead of being calibrated in frequency units.
Ah,
Probably around a 32.
maybe.
I wonder if that grill cloth is a replacement. What do you think?
Yep.
Like, does anyone read any of this? Boy, it's stretching. I'm trying to sit back. I just don't have a good angle on this.
It almost looks
my
like Emerson.
bifocals. I'm going to tell you, I'm lucky I can see the radio.
Sorry, what were you going to say, Greg?
That's what I can tell you.
It almost looks like it could say Emerson, but I'm not sure.
I had wondered about that, but I just can't. But the problem is, it just
Can't say for certain, but
yeah.
That's what it looked like to me too, Emerson, but I can't be sure.
Gosh, that's nice. So
I love that knob though. Increase. It's
exactly.
That's I can't tell you.
I bet it's a curtain burner though.
Just you look at just the beautiful lettering and all. It's just
Yeah.
the quality of that, the little graphics, the details is impressive here. I love the grill cloth. It's just stunning.
Wonder if that's a pressed wood cabinet like those Crosley Buddy Boys were.
Like a rep wood.
The
Yeah, I
rep wood,
don't-
yeah.
If it's Bakelite, it's really a great example.
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
maybe it is Bakelite. I don't know. Look at that like little texture around the on the sides where those little circular features are. I don't know. That looks plastic.
Yeah, I suspect it is.
Could be.
Very sexy.
Yeah, beautiful radio. There's another Philco.
Nice Philco.
Flying wedge.
Right.
Look at that case.
Very
Does
nice.
not look like a refinish.
Yeah, you know, this might have been one of Chris's radios. Because this might be on one of his consoles, so we wouldn't surprise if it's one of his.
Oh yeah, there's the two Zenith consoles behind there.
Yeah, well, let's see, we covered that one, and yeah, we did cover that one. That was playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the one with the target tuning eye.
Yeah, you can see it.
What's interesting about that, that's a 1937. And in 38, they used that same cabinet for the radio that Rich Lee has sitting behind him. The 6-tube. It's got this same shape to the grill. Yeah, he doesn't have the shutter dial on the 6-tube.
I do have that radio in the museum. And it's a pretty good example. This one actually looks nicer. This one's in very good condition.
Yeah,
I love the wing, the Philco Transitone logo.
Yeah.
Right.
Wedge. Yeah. Oh, another console that I think was Chris's. Get close to see who made this one.
Philco, yeah.
Oh, it's a Philco. Thank you. Thank you.
36 with the shadow meter.
Yeah, another beauty. Very nice. Oh, I did get a close up. Okay, good. I just taking so many, I can't figure out what I took. All right. Very nice. Oh yeah, there it is. You can get closer to the dial there. Oh yeah, this is nice pairing. I have a better shot of the top radio shortly. Another console, and this would be a
RCA.
Yeah, we go with a tuning eye. And tone buttons.
Oh, look at that, 6 knobs.
Yeah, look at all that. Lots to play with.
Lots to play with, a lot of push buttons, yeah.
Yeah, it's all goodies. This is a probably pretty top end radio for its time for RCA. Beautiful. Oh, yeah, is this a what's this? It's a Silvertone.
I think it's a Stuart Warner.
That's right, it was. I was trying to remember something off brand. I just couldn't come to it. I think you are probably right. Ray.
Hard to see. I think that's what it says there.
Oh, thank you, John, on the RCA 811K. Yeah, I think you are right. You are absolutely. It's hard to see, but it's there. Confirmed.
That's a Stuart Warner.
Give the man a cigar. But
Yeah, they
beautiful.
have the speaker off to the side. Those are a beautiful set.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
there is.
Beautiful dial.
Yo, there's a
I'm gonna
close look.
get on my soapbox and say that Stuart Warner is underappreciated.
Yeah, I got that
They did
little
a lot of
one
stuff
from
for
the
different,
50s.
for store brands and that type of thing. But then they made some stuff on their own. That's a very sharp looking set.
It sure
and they're
is.
good players with a long wire antenna. They're great.
And see, there's the attractive.
Oh yes, there's the speaker.
Speakers on the side.
Yeah.
So it looks like almost it's a little over lacquered or maybe polyed. I don't know.
Yeah, this was probably a restoration by Chris, but still an unusual radio.
Sometimes that's just an effect of the angle of the photos. You
Yeah.
might have used the right lacquers and everything, you know. But they're good sets. Nice.
I would not kick it out of my house, that's for sure.
Anybody know what that screw is on the top left? It doesn't look like original. The cross cut.
Oh, well, that's what's mounting the speakers in the
Those things
cabinet.
that kind of hold in the frame for the speaker grill cloth. There's another one on the lower left.
Oh, yeah, I see it. Yeah. They look a bit odd, though.
Yeah, I guess I had to do some way to fix it.
Why did they use 2 and not use 4? I mean,
Right.
the mysteries of life.
Yeah,
Because 2 was enough to hold the speaker in.
Yeah.
right, probably
They
is
saved,
more than
3
good.
cents in the depression.
Yeah.
Oh,
Another
there you go.
Oh, cool.
go.
Looks like a 38 116. Huh?
Looks like it needs a little lacquer though, huh?
Yeah.
What happened to that?
Look at it
Yeah,
was stripped.
I'm not sure.
It still looks like it has decals on there though, huh? That's
Yeah,
weird.
you can see the Philco high fidelity.
Interesting. It's so light.
Yeah, I know.
I've never seen one like that before.
Left in the front window of a shop for 40 years. Who knows?
Yeah. Let's see, this might be a repeat photo. Occasionally you'll catch me doing that. Sometimes I sort of forget I'm just banging out photos. So I think this was a repeat.
Is it an RCA?
Yeah. I think it's the same one that we got photo. Because I think I remember I had the tear in the grill cloth spots.
It's a beefy looking cabinet, I'll tell you that.
There is. It's probably a.
That's a backbreaker when you go to
gosh,
the
that's minimally 2-man job, maybe.
gotta have a 2-wheeler.
This was unusual.
European of some
Yeah.
type.
Oh,
Oh, there you go. Radialva.
Radialva. Is that Italian? Or?
Gilversum. Nancy.
But you look at it, it said, this was really intriguing. I'd love to see it lit up because, you know, it had this interesting baffling for the grill cloth, you know, for aesthetics. And
You know, that could be something that someone was listening to, you know, speeches from Joseph Goebbels.
yeah.
You know, look at that case. I mean, that's, I mean, if
I think some of the cities are in French.
Well, let's see now. Maybe it could be a French radio because I see it's a Toulouse, Nancy. There is a lot, maybe. Well, there's Budapest,
Paris 1, Paris 2, Bordeaux.
Lyon, Vienna.
Yeah.
Budapest.
Nice.
It's good you stop by, Rich, you know, to share these observations with us.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
No, I think you're right on mark there. That
Wouldn't surprise me. The French only.
I mean, those little pieces that kind of jut out underneath the dial glass. I mean, what's the likelihood those would be intact?
Yeah.
That's remarkable.
Well, they wouldn't surprise me as French. They certainly
Very
had.
brittle, I'm sure. You know.
Well, they certainly had the gift of flair, the French, on their radios. Yeah, here's. Oh, it's super chic. It's got to be French.
Oh well, that explains everything. Tone of light. Yeah, I think we're safe to say that's some type of a French.
Yeah, I think. I think.
So then you look at it. It says,
Here we go. C'est plus.
That's so weak.
Yeah, this is French, no question.
Attention.
Yeah.
I think Claude Rains was listening to that in the Casablanca.
Yeah, probably. This is not something you see very often. It's certainly worth a look.
And just look at that back.
Yep.
I mean, you're lucky to have any kind of a back on any radio.
Yeah. Now this
Mint that
looks in remarkably nice shape.
Of course.
One missing, one fixture's fixing. You know, it's got to make a few screws missing, but that's not a big deal. I think I don't remember whether there was a knob. I would expect a knob back here. I could be wrong, but still, I mean, that's minor stuff considering the radio's remarkable condition.
As would say in Boston, that's just awesome.
Yeah.
With 3 H's.
It's not that old. The tube lineup is, it looks like from the 50s.
Well, yeah, it would be because the EL41s, at least in Germany, were cut out by the, around like 55-ish or so, 54 or 5. So it could very well be like early.
Is that the output section, the two EAFs?
Yeah, the EL41s were output. I've got a little Telefunken Jubilee that I believe uses EL41. And that's from around 55. And they cut that out, and then they were doing the EL84s pretty much from that point onward, before replacing with, of course, there was EL95s and other successors.
Check out the voltage range that it could run on. That's amazing.
Yeah, usually could. Usually these were adjustable. In fact, almost all my German radios could have a adjustments for either US or any pretty much anywhere you can bring it. It's rather convenient. Except I think the US spec, the ones that were marketed specifically the US, I think were just non-adjustable, but that's a relative minority. Here's another Zenith. Beautiful dial. Also another Chris Thompson radio. Very nice.
Little Philco on top there, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I took earlier, yeah. Yeah.
I actually have this radio in the museum as well, but I love the satellite control down below. It's 3 controls in one. There's an outer ring, there's a white dial ring, and then there's the center knob, center shaft. So it's 3 shafts in one. Pretty intriguing.
Yeah, Zenith use that a lot. That steering wheel is for the bands, and then you have the tuner, and then the alpha and volume all in one control.
Yeah, it's quite attractive and clever. Up. Test. Tube tester. Department of Army is the Army Technical.
What did that go for?
I have, I don't see a sign. I don't actually know. It's actually in nice shape.
It's in really good shape.
Yeah.
Even the little roller there behind the instruction manual.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
that
the
was
ultimate TV2 of that series.
March 61. There we go.
Department of the Army, 1961.
Yeah, that was neat. Well worth a photo.
My tube tester is a Heathkit, and the paper, roller is just giving me all kinds of headaches. So that's a nice one, though. You can pick that up.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
That
That's ready to
TV2,
go.
it takes about 15 minutes to test one tube.
You just get Uncle Fester to come over. You could stick it in.
I used to
Actually, if you
own
put
one.
me in that coat, I would probably be Uncle Fester. I don't even want to go there. Maybe I'll do that for a attraction at a future meet. We'll get the attendance up. Now appearing, Uncle Fester from the Oh God.
There you go.
I have no shame. Yeah, that's.
Well, it's your action item for.
It's my action item. That's right.
For Brookline in May.
That's right. Well, May could be. I'd have to probably do a winter meet because that's a heavy coat.
Yeah, it is. All right. We'll wait. Well, you can do it for the next step.
That's right.
The next big meeting in 6.
Well, if Tom Pereira can do Santa, I could certainly do Uncle Fester. It's all fair.
The polar opposite.
Yeah. He has a face for radio, as they used to say.
That's right. Jackie Coogan. Oh, Hickok. Another tester.
Highly sought after.
Yeah, 539. That's very sought after. You're right, Paul.
Yeah.
And look at that, though. Everything is look at the, the legend, all the graphics. That's sharp.
It
now,
is.
If that's been restored underneath, that's just a bargain.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, but boy, whoever brought that, the vendor brought a lot of neat testers.
The guy who restored the first radio, I mean, I was 12. I mean, I had no clue. I had no clue, but I just knew that it was something I didn't want to stick my finger into. So he had from what I understood, what my dad told me was it was Hickok that had built for the Navy, and it was in this beautiful Navy gray case. And guy used it. He used to he'd fix anything: TVs, radios, appliances. He was a mechanic for the utility company up here, and just a gifted guy, sort of that, give it to me and I'll figure it out type of generation.
Mhm.
And I think Hickok made some for the USN because it was a USN tester. Then he charged me
Yeah,
$2 for the replacement tubes. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm a little guy. What are you doing? Probably just wants you to know that nothing's free, is what my father said. I said, yeah, thanks, Dad.
Right.
I actually run 2 of the Hickoks in my workshop here, and they are a dream to work with. They take a while. I can do a tube in under a minute, but they're obviously long lasting quality. That's cool. Look at that.
Yeah.
Nice little scope, huh?
Yeah.
Never saw one before.
Old scope. Not saying who made this. Navy Department Bureau of Ships. It was on the ship.
Yep, there you go. For general electronics use.
See, I'd take that home.
I think it's a 3-inch scope.
Yeah, it is. I think it's an OS8.
Yeah.
Whatever is that from, guys? What do you
The
think?
ring around the tube can be pulled forward when you're using it in the sun. It's a neat little scope.
What do you
Run that
think
thing
the
to-
time frame is on that guy?
Run that thing through the wife's dishwasher and you're in business.
I
Yeah.
don't think you want to do that. The high voltage transformer may not like it.
Is that post-war or is that World War II vintage, guys? What do you think?
I think it's post-war, but close
Post-war.
to it. It might be Korean War time.
Interesting. Neat stuff.
The fellow who I went to with my Silvertone that I took out of my great uncle's house with my dad, he was a tech. He was a radio tech in the Navy in World War II. So he had some interesting stories too. Apparently, it was easier to drop techs in to fix things than it was to drop more equipment in certain operations. So he told me of a story. He was apparently dropped into the action, I think near Peleliu, he said. And he said, I never fixed any equipment so fast in my life. The Marines were having some command and control issues with the Navy, and we'll send you a tech. Oh my God, can you imagine?
Funny.
John, if you get in
Fixing-
closer on that on the grandfather clock, but I'm actually looking at the case of the scope. You might have more information on that.
Okay, this one here, you mean?
Back,
Yes, yes.
the left.
Let's see
there.
what I can do here.
OS8.
CV.
Oop, lose it. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, we're losing granularity.
You've got to get a more expensive camera, John.
I know. Sorry, guys.
Get a better
That's-
camera and then buy about 15 more radios too, John.
And that's just the case, and the
See if
number
you
on there
can't
is the
invest
case
more
number.
of yourself into this hobby.
Yeah. I actually will be trying to get a better camera because sadly my trusty, I use my iPhone and I edit the photos individually, but
There's a neat Crossley over there on the right. That's a beauty. That's,
oh yeah, there'll be a shot of that
extremely
soon.
popular for a 6-tube set. It was
Very
goes
attractive
for
face too.
$400
I
restored.
like one with that it was a burgundy case. They have an alternate burgundy. I think I have a better shot of that later, but they
have like a patriotic version. Crossley did a few of those. Those are hot sellers.
well, it's a great dial face. Hard not to like it.
But when we do these events, it might even be worth for us to go into these with the idea of trying to interview the sellers a little bit too. Maybe we should be doing video instead of just photos.
Yeah, well, actually, that's, you know,
like that guy, Bob Bennett, that windbag.
well, you know, actually, Tom raised that in the past, you know, and it's a little bit of a struggle because, you know, my goal when I take the photos is I go in early and I get the
Right.
shot.
You want to get as much as you can, and there's
before
not
the
always people
catalyst,
there.
exactly, before the cattle are released, then I'm having to dodge everybody, even in the best times, you know, so I'm banging out photos like opportunistically. But you're right, but you know, once you get all the main photos in, then it's good to do the roving walk up to people and, you know, talk to
Hey,
them.
with any luck, maybe we'll get to do that for WCVB in May, if I'm lucky.
All right. This
Shh.
was the wind
If
charger.
I fail, I don't want to be depressed.
Right.
But anyway, a wind charger. Oh yes, what's old is new. Whoever thought of wind power? Well, certainly not us.
Yeah, Chris brought that.
Sears had those too. They had Silvertone chargers that they sold extensively in the farm catalogs to do the old farm radios. Light your barn during the night, and you could play a radio during the day.
That's right. Yeah, this is a nice little setup.
I can't tell you how cool that is.
It is really. It was.
Because of course, wind is nothing we haven't thought about, in the last 20 years. So,
Paul, you want to be the one to tell the next generation that we've already done it and it really didn't work that well?
Well, given where I grew up, I'll tell just about anybody anything. If you buy me a beer, Larry, I will.
Done.
Any idea what that went for, the wind charger? I've never even seen one for sale.
If Mark Stein did some of the books, on antique radio, but he also did a Sears Silvertone book, which I could tell you, I just look at the pictures over and over again, but they featured, basically it's a compilation of pages from the Sears catalog, and he had the wind chargers in there, and I'm sure it has pricing information in there. They weren't cheap, but then again, this is sort of Depression era stuff, so they had to kind of adjust to what the market would bear. And, rural America was probably struggling pretty severely back then. But yeah, I mean, you think of what does it cost any more to make that wind charger than it does to make a radio that would accept, a battery, to run off your car battery, a 12 volt or something,
Right.
Maybe not as much as you think. I mean, what do you got? A wooden blade, you got a motor, and you got it looks like a paper tail there almost, or cardboard.
Can you
An automobile generator.
Can you zoom in on the connections down below where the wires seem to terminate? Look at the gauge of the wire that they've got on that thing. It produces amps of current, I would say. I wish I could see the spec sheet, and if you look up top, it resembles a vintage automobile generator.
Yeah,
That's what Tom was saying, yeah.
Yeah, it is a generator.
Yeah.
Indeed, I think the brush housing is in the front on this version, but you can certainly see the field bolt head, the screw head for the field coils. And I've seen these many times at my engine shows. I almost had one in my hands, and I would have loved it. I would have hung it up in the barn here. But that's the only source of power that you really had.
That is just
Was and it was windy all the time in a lot of locations. So it really gave some good performance for a long time. I would imagine that thing would stay up in the pole for a decade or more before it needed service. By the way, the box
Zenith
above
also had some
Sioux City,
good,
Iowa.
wind equipment too.
the box that's at the junction there, the red box, that's actually a brush ring. And that's so the entire assembly can swivel 360 degrees. That red box there, it's actually more like a cylinder. It contains a set of heavy brushes to carry the current, and that allows the windmill to swing in every direction and still maintain contact.
Interesting. Yeah, makes sense.
Well, that all goes back to before rural electrification, and that's what it was. So,
Yeah. Whoop, sorry about that.
there you go, John. That's a nice view. And
I-
again, if that's not repainted, that thing was great. That little Crossley.
Oh yeah, you'll see. Well, I'll go back to that in just a moment. I skipped a photo inadvertently, but here's just another.
I think it's the same like the other one that was real light and finish.
Yeah, you're right. This looks like a duplicate, right?
That's a high fidelity Philco 38-116.
Yeah. So you must have had a couple there.
I get a kick out of
Who would
the
tell you
cutout
today's
down.
radio is it just doesn't sound right. Well, if you listen through one of those that's restored well, whoa, pretty cool.
I get a kick out of the trough that's cut in underneath the controls
Take
to
care,
make
Rich.
room for your fingers.
Yeah. Those things are huge. They look like a wash machine from the side. They're so deep.
Yeah. Or a small refrigerator.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. There's the Crosley. You were.
Look at that glass. I wonder if that plastic's been, as a replacement. It looks like it has a couple of dings. Maybe not. Maybe it was just a cleanup.
They're very nice. And they had, like you said, the Victory model that came out right after the war ended.
American and overseas.
Yeah. Stars and stripes on them.
Yeah, very nice little radio. Oh, is this an AK or?
Hard to say.
Boy, that's hard.
AK. I don't.
I'm I've lost resolution.
Look at that escutcheon with the linear dial.
Yeah,
That is some nice Art Deco.
sure is. Yeah, look at the really clever, beautifully. All the detail is always worth looking more closely. Just a silver tone. Yes, I thought it was. Very attractive little radio. Love that dial face. Very attractive.
Yeah, it's a repro grill cloth, but that's a nice grill cloth. I have it on an RCA, but it's mint. Those are good money these days. People love that, and the escutcheon is too, which is a plus.
Yeah, no, nice. It was a rather attractive radio.
Anything with that tuning eye. Oh yeah.
There's a Atwater.
Yes, that is an Atwater.
AK.
Also another nice unit. A Grebe synchro phase.
Oh, I got to chime in on this one.
Yeah,
I have two of these, and they both are in very good condition. One looks like that. One is that clean, and the other one is maybe 90% that clean. But what's amazing is these tags on the back wall survived through the years. They're actually varnished cardboard. So they do last a long time. Now look at the tuning. This is an early example of an attempt to introduce one dial tuning. The center dial becomes the dial that you tune, and the two outside dials are actually tuned and locked in to synchronize, is a word for you, all three dials on with one motion in the center dial. So it's an early version of a one dial TRF, I guess you'd call it. An early attempt, and they were quite good. They run quite well.
and that's the term synchro phase.
Yeah, that's the term synchro phase. The first thing you do is the technician would set the radio up, the batteries. It is a battery set, and and look, there's your log. There's your log settings.
Yeah, you can see this.
So and that takes into account the antenna tuning as well, because you want everything not to shift. So it's pretty remarkable. The chain is just so outstanding and a notable part of this radio. Also, edge tuning. All of your controls are tuned by the edge, except for the filament controls. You can look, you got fine tuning below, and you've got the master tuning up above, but they're all mounted on the edge with vertical shafts, a very unusual feature and ahead of its time. 1928, 27, maybe?
Wow, it's a beautiful unit, actually. Unusual.
I'm so glad you showed the insides.
Yeah, that was worth it. It was because it looks so nice, this radio. Richmond Hill, New
Very
York,
well.
it's in Queens. Another an AK. What do we got? Earl, the Earl radio. You want to hear of an Earl? No, is that right? Did I read it? Yeah, it looks like Earl. Never seen one before.
I never heard of one before.
Ditto.
I wonder if it's a private label type thing, you know?
Yeah.
But that looks like, God, late 20s, early 30s, maybe early 30, 33, 34. Nice case.
Yeah, it's a reasonable shape. I mean, yeah, sure, it's got a little bit of stuff going on down in the lower, but overall, it's remarkably nice shape. This, I think, Chris brought this one as well.
If you were born then, you might have a few dings.
Great. I've got my share already, and I was not born back then. Here's a nice Stromberg Carlson radio. Oh, I've got the Globe. That was rather nice. 80 bucks, according to the Fleetwood. That's what it was, the Fleetwood. I remember George has got one of those. Did I take a shot of this earlier? It's possible. Another Zenith. Nice concept. I think another Chris Thompson. Yeah, I got a close up. You can see me, but more you can see the dial.
That's at least a 12 tuber, if not a 15.
Yeah, I've got my share of tubes.
Yeah. It's interesting. The broadcast scale goes to 1700.
Yeah, that's a good catch. Right. Yeah.
His picture in the glaring in the glass there.
I know. Sorry, guys. Too much of me, not enough of the dial face.
And the volume goes to 11.
Sorry?
I said, and the volume goes to 11.
So it does. Huh.
Now that was a joke, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I guess I misread that. I actually fell for it. Quite all right.
Spinal Tap.
Another Z. Rather attractive.
Yeah, that's a 39 when they added the push buttons.
Yeah, huh?
Stars and stripes, they call those, because there's two stars right above those gold bars on the side.
That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Must be a 6 tuber because it has no eye tube.
So you're saying 39, Greg?
39, yeah. They added push buttons. They used the same basic dial as the 38s, just that they added the different discussion with the push buttons on top.
I see. Oh, that's beautiful. Lovely. Oh, another look at that Stromberg Carlson directly in front.
Yeah.
Right. Very nice radio. Face. Oh, here's a close up of the wind charger vane. This is worth
You see.
Another shot of it from a different angle.
Just those veins alone bring a lot of money.
I bet.
Yeah.
Oh, bunch of.
Ooh.
In fact, this was taken. Actually, I had similar photos taken by Joe Coco that showed up in Raven. What do we have here? This a. Is this thing? Fine indicator. The Presto recording, Presto changeo.
Oh.
New York.
Yeah, another one I've never seen before.
Make your own transcription discs.
Yeah, I would say so.
It's a transcriber. I just noticed that.
Yeah,
Yike. What a rare piece.
yeah. There's lots of goodies here. Yeah, that was really neat. Form of chassis. I forget why I took it. Let's see what we got here. It's a Heathkit amplifier. There we go. Asking $275.
Is that for the pair? No, that's each.
That's a very interesting looking RCA remake there with that dial, the
Those-
grill cloth and the pink paint. Whoa.
Those would make a nice stereo back in the day.
I bet. Would imagine.
Look at that thing.
Wow.
Now, that may have been like a bullhorn where the bullhorn was broken and they just pulled it. But that has like an 8-inch speaker in there.
Yeah, it's pretty
Only
big.
5 tubers, but they have an RCA jack. And those are really nice little radios. But, yet he preserved the RCA name badge down there in the lower right. So, it's easy to be critical, but, if you got a piece of junk, you did pretty well with that thing. I mean,
Yeah.
Look at the matching grill cloth too, because it's got the pink in the background. It's got the matching green.
$100 and it works.
Yeah, it's unusual. Certainly not something you see every day. Oh, the little Westinghouse
Refridge,
Yeah.
always in demand. Always get a good price for those things.
I can believe it.
Not that they're the best radios, but I
Well-
guess those were given as like a premium or part of a refrigerator purchase. So maybe that adds to the novelty.
Yeah, probably. Oh, a bunch of just circuit boards and stuff. Just
Pots.
parts. Exactly. Oh, there we go. Transistor diode checker. Oh, this is neat. This is Roger's table. He had a bunch of old toy, like varying age children's toys. And I'll talk about this one later. Well, actually, I'll touch on it next. I guess I don't know if I'll have a photo of it, and we'll get to it. This was fun. The reason I actually ended up getting this from Roger, because when I was a kid, we had one of these. Not that it was given to me, because this is from probably the 50s, and we had one. And it never really worked very well, but I don't think we had all the pieces. But I'll show the inside, because it's a complete set. Another difference between the one I had versus this is painted like a darkish blue, whereas I had black. So it brought back this neat memory. Plus, it had the entire box and all everything in there. Oh yeah, it's a close up, and I think somewhere along the line, it's like even the graphics and all. So you can connect it. You can do wired. You or you can do wireless. You have little light bulb that flashes. It's battery powered, and it does, you know, the typical clicking for a telegraph. It's a nifty little toy.
John, did you have a hat like one of those kids?
I did not. You know, it was funny. We played with.
That would just make the full treatment.
I guess I need that full, you know, the full Monty there. But it was just like, oh my God, I haven't seen one of these in, you know,
Sure.
decades. And I said,
for $15, who could say no?
Who could say no?
John, I have about 20 of those kits, and I love it because I only buy them with a good box. But I've got them. There's about 4 American versions of that for Boy Scouts, and there's a whole bunch of other different toy types that are just like that. So they're fun to collect, and they always work.
Yeah, it was too neat to pass up, you know, because, you know, I thought, well, when's the next time I'm going to see one of these? Probably never again. Nice Helicopters. 2 Helicopters here. A Sky Buddy.
Jim Halligan would be happy. Look at those cases are great.
I know. Look at the nice shiny chrome.
Mint.
Yeah, beautiful. Let's see, what do we got here?
I have one of those in a brown Bakelite, which, you know, surprise, surprise, all it is spray painted, but, you know, they're not bad little radios, and the dial lights up really neat too. They're very cool. It's another Golden Throat product from RCA.
Now, how's it light up? Is it just one bulb or?
Yeah, there's a bulb, so the whole dial illuminates, and to tune, you actually turn the outer edge of the knob.
Right.
Very nice.
Hmm.
They have kind of a funky chassis, the way it's stuck in there, but they're cool little radios.
Yeah, it actually mounts in there with the tubes pointing out the back.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the bottom of the chassis is
one
facing.
little flea bite. That case is awesome.
Yeah, it's a nice condition.
Big sound from a little set. Oh, there's one of those Zenith AMFMs.
Yeah, this is Roger's tape.
Speaker. Oh, baby.
Yeah. He said, you know, you don't get these too often. He was selling them for pretty reasonable money too, as I recall. Yeah, that was neat. Oh yeah, Roger was this. Yeah, he was selling this Grundig Majestic, very nice shape. I think that radio, I'm pretty sure sold. Nice mid-level radio. I forgot which model, frankly, offhand. Oh, it's a Zenith High Fidelity.
Those are very nice sets. Got a tweeter in there and a big mid-range. Nice.
Yeah.
Interesting that it's placed under that Grundig, because they were kind of, you know, that was the last American competition with those Grundigs, was that, you know, Zenith was still doing those hand-wired chassis, and nice sensitive set.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Clarion?
Clarion?
Yeah. Nice, very attractive dial face. Radio. Oh, another. Ah, Father.
It's the one you bought.
The one I came away with. Just too attractive not to come away with it. Just, you know, love the sunburst style dial face. AM, FM, you got a gold grill. You know, it's just really with the dark maroon piece. It just really was fetching.
Well, they're kind of a unique set too, because they're actually from the late 40s, but they look like they're a lot older than that.
Exactly. Yeah, this is from 49.
I
And
think so, yeah.
yeah, and you're right. It looks like something came out of the 30s. So to me, it was like a throwback, a sort of Art Deco throwback, sort of like, and because that was sort of like the last gasping breath of before radio started to take a much different look about them. So that's why
And actually, I think they were just using the same cabinet, because I think they made one in the late 30s using that same cabinet design. They just must have kept them old.
You're probably right, Greg. They might have said just reuse it, but they threw the FM frequency on there. It's probably
Right.
have at that point. And that's what I love about it. It's a great sound, pretty sensitive, great sounding radio.
So Fred D'Andrea, who started that company, sold it briefly and then bought it back. And then it became Andrea, and then became like Fada. So who knows, what that whole business aspect of it was. I think that was once he bought it back. So that's pretty cool too, because it's the original founders type set.
Yeah, plus everything nice. Everything was all the knobs, all the lettering, everything was
beautiful dial.
Yeah, the dial was just. I said, wow, that's just. And again, gold with burgundy, especially with the gold, grill fence almost.
And the Fada running down that little name.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
cool, very cool.
Couldn't resist. Well, this was kind of neat. That one sort of built, from the Popular Electronics from October '55, the 1-2 wallop. It was, I guess they gave the instructions how to do it, and somebody did it. And I thought it'd be cool that they labeled it, had the magazine and the result. That was actually kind of cool. It was done fairly recently.
1D8 tube.
Sorry?
1D as in dog, 8 tube.
Yeah. We can.
I think my grandfather had a chair with that same fabric on the speaker.
Oh, here's now the beautiful Crosley.
Fiver.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful little radio. Rogers table. So it's a germanium early bank of Honeywell germanium PNP power transistors. It was neat. Now, it was this interesting novelty he had. There we go. Actually, I forgot I got a better shot of it. First true power transistors. Interesting piece of history, I suppose. A Grundig, probably 80s, early 90s. LCD display. And of course, you got the Telechron clock from good old Ashland, Massachusetts. But I'm not sure what who the maker of the radio is.
Maybe a GE. It could be a GE. GE had one that had a sort of a thumb dial on the top, but the case looks very similar.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess I wish I'd gotten a look at the back there.
Nice little Bendix.
Yeah, you don't see those very often. Bendix Nation. Pretty original. Looks like, a reshoot and well on your way.
I think it's a model 526, and what's unique about them is they came in a wooden cabinet, and they also came as a Catalan.
Ah.
Three different cabinet designs with the same chassis.
Yeah, and that was the chassis would slide out from the bottom.
Right.
Pull the screws out, but the knobs look original. And big thing on that is the little dial plastic is pretty well preserved. You know, that's usually what you see fades or
Chips, scratches.
doesn't read all the numbers. Yeah.
It's
Nice.
in pretty reasonable condition. He's got some wave, maybe, but it's pretty reasonable. It could be also the reflection side, maybe a little,
Bendix Aviation.
right?
Baltimore.
We got here. Now,
Vintage wave meter.
General Radio, Cambridge, Massachusetts.
I always love the way they case these things up. I've owned 3 or 4 of these over the years, and some of them have better workmanship than that, but that's pretty nice.
Yeah. No, your common Zenith. Always see plenty of these around. Almost every show inevitably has at least one of these.
Good players though, and nice FM, and the little knob in the center of the tuning dial is your bass and tone.
Oh, right.
$30, that's a good deal because the cases are kind of big, so
Yeah.
usually they tend to get broken. But the brass dial with the numerals for the stations is pretty good. Usually those rust and spot and kind of get nasty, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, you need to get some metal polish to go if you're very careful to get out the
And it's got the Zenith logo there. Still
Yeah.
mint.
So it was all complete for $30. It was a more than reasonable deal.
Take it away.
Exactly. Radiocraft, early Radiocraft with a what was this? Tell. 1929. Stromberg. There we go. Stromberg Carlson.
Well, it's a standalone speaker.
Oh, is that right?
I think it's what the tag said, standalone speaker.
Oh, you are right. Good catch, Greg. Wow. That's a
Kinda
big
looking sideways like this.
speaker.
I had 2 of these matching set, not necessarily this particular one, but they were standalone speakers with giant 15-inch bells with horns and drivers. And geez, nobody wanted those things.
Wow. There's a Philco.
Silvertone.
Yeah, the Silvertone, yeah. And now I guess what I'll probably do is I'll probably also show more photos and wrap this up because it's already managed to go past another Silvertone.
Oh yeah, the election model they call it.
The election model.
Mm-hmm.
Why they called it that?
The story goes, they came out in 1936, and they kind of advertised them as being a perfect bedside radio to listen to the presidential election on.
Oh, interesting. Thanks for that, Greg.
They made them for a number of years. I think they made them up to about 1940.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Plascon cabinets on some of them.
That's
There's
this.
a Belmont, I think.
Oh, this one up here.
Yeah, I think it's a Belmont.
It's
Or Airline, one of the two.
Airline.
Airline. Okay. Another Airline.
I'm looking at the symbol. Is that used by Airline?
I think so.
Let's see what the E. Looking for it doesn't. Okay, it doesn't really clarify. Neat radio with the tuning eye, of course. The dial, I like it.
Yeah, the dial lights up bright red.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
That must be cool at
It's
night.
like a stoplight on a car.
Oh, cool. I'd like that. Now, I think what we need a book that have all the radio dials, these ones like that lit up at night. Oh, you just have dial lights. That'd be great. Oh yeah, this was one of the guys playing. It's a Grundig 3045. You can hear that nice deep bass. It's on radio. You can see that probably an EM80 tuning eye, and you get this. It was just belting that nice bassy sound in the back of the room. Nice radio.
Emerson?
Yeah. Well, I managed to get through up to 600, and maybe I'll just bang out a few. I'm going to just sort of go through quickly the next few minutes. You guys can get a quick flash of the rest of the stuff, and I'm going to wrap this up and declare this this was neat, this silver tone, by the way. Unusually push buttons and so forth for the station, right?
Some of those had a red insert and called the candy can model because that where the dial is and it wraps around, it's like a candy can.
Yeah, exactly. And those are station buttons. I thought that was really quite clever. I'm not sure what this is. It's missing probably. Oh wait, here it is. Airline. It is an airline.
Oh.
Nice radio. This is a radio lamp. 1941 Mitchell. Is that Mitchell? Yeah. Lumitone rocket. Lumitone rocket. There, that's a better picture of it with the lamp part. Not sure what kind of radio this is.
That's an American Bosch.
Ah, good catch. Thank you, Greg. And this is nice. A set of Radiocraft, nice set of radios this gentleman had. All nice variety. GE.
Airline.
Yes. Nice radio.
Crosley.
There we go.
Yeah.
E. I guess it was a 50 cross. It was above. That was one. Another airline.
Huh.
Marconi.
Wow.
Not seen very often. Top cracks, but if it wasn't too bad. $30 is not too unreasonable. A bunch of dial faces. Table with dial faces, also the goodies. This was interesting. It's Radiola 26. Neat, really neat.
I have the radiola in the benchtop tabletop version, and that tuning is very unique. The way the escutcheons are so busy. Everything has an escutcheon in the front panel, and but they do make that in a table model as well. Very early, but it had the dreaded epoxied internals. All the components are in this block, this brick of stuff other than the tubes. And so if something went wrong, you had to buy the whole block from the dealer.
Interesting. Nice Zenith.
Zenith Racetrack, 1939.
Yeah, that's beautiful, isn't it?
Very nice.
This is nice. It's Motorola. That was
yeah.
Beautiful radio. I forgot what that was, a Chris radio. Zenith is neat. Macintosh. I might have actually been in I saw that in Raven. You hit crystal receiver.
Oh.
That was kind of neat. I'm not sure, but this was another crystal set, I believe.
No, that's a coil winder.
Oh, you're right. Thank you.
That's a coil winder, yeah.
You're right. It even says so. Good.
A Morris coil winder to be exact.
Thanks. Good catch, guys.
It's interesting how the form has the coil winding form has a taper to the inside. I wonder if that's got something to do with keeping the wire looking like a coil when they take it off the form. Very
Now
unusual.
that's actually to hold the coil form.
Oh, so the coil form, I see. So you could run different diameter coil forms, probably.
Yeah, exactly. And also to create some friction so that the coil form doesn't just, you know, stay stationary while the shaft is spinning.
Whoop, overshot mine. Some more of all the goodies Chris brought, because there's a whole bunch of them. Oh, this Benda Cadet. There's your baseline radio from Benda, around 57-ish or so. Actually, nice shape. Actually attractive in its own. It has unique knobs. It's just a unique design from Benda back then. Not sure what this is. Also, very nice radio. Oh, another picture of that Cadet. Oh, a couple of nice Cadet.
RCA.
Yes, indeed. Well, I'm just going to blast through the last few because I got to let you guys go. And this was unusual. That was not a Russian. No, it's French. Except French radio. Oh yeah, there was a couple of the there's a Braun early the Deutsche line and thing there. World War II style small radio. Oh yeah, that was kind of neat. This Pepsi Cola.
Oh yeah.
Novelty radio. And this is kind of neat. Tom Thumb. So is it the bike radio? There's one of these was the bike radio. Yes, this is it. I don't see these too often. Sonora.
I don't think the dial's big enough.
Probably not. Oh yeah, this is neat. This nuclear bomb effects computer.
Wow.
A little dark, but it was certainly unique. Cropico. Made in England. Well, boys. Oh yeah, this was just this Ohio talkaphone. That was one of the winning third place photo with the horn placed to the gentleman's ear. That was from this unit. Oh, this is fun. The Great Scott speaker box. It's should be a Citroen Deux Chevaux carrying their boxes. The speakers, nice Scott amplifier.
Emerson.
Neat stuff. Well, further ado, gentlemen, I guess I should probably wrap this meeting up and really let you go. But
good job.
If there's more left, you probably hit most of them, and looking ahead to the upcoming meetings, well, we have to just figure out what will be in the end of April. I'll be talking to Paul on that, but I know Mark Wu will have you on again because we do have some more photos. And
I do.
And before long, we'll be thinking about if anyone's going to Kutztown, and maybe if Bob Bennett takes a video, that might be one of our things for first meeting in May, and hopefully some photos after Spring Brookline. Anyway, John,
MIT Flea Market this weekend.
that's right. That's right. Make sure there was a lot of buzz about that at the beginning of the meeting between Tom and others. Anyway, guys, enjoy the rest of your week and weekend, and we'll be seeing you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you,
That's good,
John.
John. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
John.
Great
Thanks,
job.
Paul.
You bet. You guys take care.
Thanks, John.